This is chapter 3 in Stephen Covey's Principle Centered Leadership. Covers 3 resolutions. He gives the analogy of what it takes to overcome deeply embedded habits, just like the incredible thrust needed to overcome Earth's gravity by the rockets that have to pull away from the Earth. It's often hard for us to pull away from deeply embedded habits over years, decades, like procrastination, criticizing, overeating, oversleeping. And he says the way to do it is through accountability and what he calls responsibility. Responsibility. He coins a phrase called mind over mattress. The first victory of our day is getting up. He says that as a daily private victory, a sense of self-mastery, you can overcome that first step of getting up, mind over mattress. It's a struggle, but it's something that can be worked towards, and it gives us a sense of accomplishment. The chapter is broken down mainly into 3 restraining forces and the 3 universal resolutions to overcome those forces. First force is the appetites and passions, which are overcome by exercising self-discipline and self-denial. It's an action. All 3 resolutions are action words. Second one is pride and pretension, that's overcome by the action of working on character and competence. Third force is aspiration and ambition, which is overcome by dedicating our talents and resources to noble purposes and service to others. So what are you feeding? Years ago when we visited Yellowstone National Park in Wyoming, we saw this sign that says, "Do not feed the bears." Because the bears had gotten so used to tourists feeding it that they would stray into vehicles and campers and RVs and look for food and handouts, and that wasn't good for them. It's not their natural food, and so they got used to it, got lazy, and got controlled by them, the tourists, rather than their natural hunting ability and natural wildlife the way they were meant to be. And we often in our life, we don't exercise self-control. What are we giving control to? What are we feeding is the question. How about personal victories? How about overeating, late nights, staying up, not exercising? These little things that we give into, the passions, the lust, the media, control. What is controlling us? That's the question he's asking. A quote from Socrates: "The greatest way to live with honor in this world is to be what we pretend to be." In other words, nothing is more disturbing to people who are full of trickery and duplicity than straightforward honesty. It kind of throws them for a loop. If we if we give to the pressure to appear powerful, successful, and fashionable, that causes people to become manipulative to maintain that kind of lifestyle. We end up putting on a false front. And the more we live to meet the expectations of others, the more weak, shallow, and insecure we become. So if we try to become all things to all people, we eventually become nothing to everyone. Thirdly, it's to dedicate my talents and resources towards higher goals, higher principles, and serving others. Stewardship, then, is what he focuses on, that we don't really own anything, and that we give our life to higher purposes and principles, inspiring people to seek not their own glory, not their own agenda, but with some higher agenda. So not a possessive kind of love. He actually argues that possessive love is destructive, and the destructive phrases he mentions, and we've all used this: "What's in it for me? I'm looking out for number one." This kind of attitude is opposite of what he says will cause us to go higher and be double-minded, have conflicting motives. That's something to check each day. So, in conclusion, the takeaways that from this chapter: one is self-denial is an essential element in overcoming all three of these temptations. Number two, unless we control our appetites, we will not be in control of our passions and emotions. And the third takeaway, then, these three principles accelerate our self-development and increase our influence. I hope this has been helpful. And as a further practical takeaway, I would just say maybe we can just try one area of self-denial this week. Maybe just 15 minutes less sleep. Maybe just giving up one television program or one extracurricular activity or one pleasure. Just deny yourself something this week and see if that doesn't give you a sense of accomplishment, mastery of yourself. Hope this is helpful. Thank you for listening.